Hey, welcome to the channel, everybody. You know, all throughout my time here on YouTube, I've built some of these crazy enclosures. Things like this really epic turtle enclosure, or maybe this riverbank enclosure. But my absolute favorite has got to be this paludarium. I have to give thanks to Pyrotoad for giving me the hands-on instruction on how to build these enclosures. I also built this really cool bucket pond. But about a year and a half ago, I built this epic DIY waterfall tank on a budget and only spent about $70 on it. And today, we're going to be revamping this and turning this into a brand new home for a brand new betta. To flashback real quick for anybody that did not see this build, I used a whole bunch of different elements, things like cork and rock and driftwood, all kinds of foam and things of that nature to construct this background within this tank. You'll see a total in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Throughout that video, I actually kept a running tally of how much it cost to put this tank together. By the time we were done, it was just slightly below $70, and it turned out fantastic. I actually built the filtration system from scratch using some acrylic sheets as well as some silicone, and we'll get into that a little bit later as we set up the filtration again on this tank. The first step for this rebuild is to add some substrate, and I'm going in with a different substrate than last time. What I'm using here is a crushed rock type substrate. I've used this in many other builds. It's actually a mix of a crushed rock as well as some all-purpose sand that gives it a nice naturalistic color, and it'll go well with this background. This substrate has actually come from another tank of mine that I recently just broke down, so this substrate is full of great beneficial bacteria and will allow me to add fish almost immediately once we get this thing filled up. What I'm doing is using my paintbrush to push this substrate up into the cracks and crevices up underneath this background. There's a space about 3 inches from the bottom of the background to the bottom of the aquarium. The purpose for this was to allow for proper water flow up into the overflow box of the filtration system. I'm using some larger elements here to kind of hide some of the larger cracks and crevices that go up into this background. So I'm using a naturalistic stone that kind of matches the overall scape. We now need to get this pump back into this overflow box, and if you look back at this clip from the original video, the overflow box is hid right back here and the pump sits right down inside of it. Filtration media will be put over top of it later on in this video. What you cannot see is that there are actually holes that have been drilled between these pieces of cork, running from the piece of cork on the left side to the one on the right side. The purpose of this is to allow for the hose to be ran and hidden behind the background and pushed over to this rock that you see right here. This allows for a waterfall effect, which we will see later on as we get this thing filled up with water. I'm using a piece of egg crate, or better known as light diffuser, to create somewhat of a base for a plant. This piece of cork on the right was actually designed to hold a potted plant, but we're going to be using something a little different. Trimming this light diffuser to fit a specific area is pretty simple, as it's plastic and it breaks apart pretty easy. So I'm just cutting this down to fit inside of this piece of cork so it's nice and hidden. Now that we have this base set, we're going to go ahead and add a plant to it. And what we've added is a silver pothos plant. This makes for a great plant for your aquarium because the roots will actually grow all throughout the water, helping filter out the nitrates, and then the vine portion or green portion will emerge from the water. So it is an absolute fantastic plant for inside of your aquarium, and it provides great hides for the fish up into the root system. Now it's time to fill it up with water. So I'm going to lay down a paper towel to prevent the substrate from being disturbed and get this thing full. Alright guys, well, taking a look at this tank, the water has cleared significantly. It's been running through the filtration system for a few days now, and it's time to go ahead and get the next step of this done. So what we're going to be doing is adding a few smaller detailed elements to this tank in preparation for adding the fish. So let's go ahead and get that done now. And the final component I'm going to add beside the fish is a fog generator. This sits right down in the water. I bought this on Amazon for about $12, and as you can see, it creates a nice little foggy mist over the surface of the water. And now let's go ahead and get this little fish in this tank. Alright guys, well this thing is done, and I have to say that I'm super happy with it, and it's turned out great. The plants look fantastic, and remember, use the code betta for 10% off all your plant orders at freshwaterscrub.com. You can pick up all kinds of things like this frog bit, these Anubias fraseri, the Christmas moss, of course, all other plants that we offer, as well as tools, sponge filters, and things of that nature. But this little metallic betta right here is an amazing little fish. He's super cool, and I'm super happy with him and his new setup and home. This thing looks fantastic, guys. So, hopefully you went on to enjoy this setup. If you have any questions about how it was built, there will be a link in the description back to the original build video so you can go back and watch that. Before we get out of here, let's take a look at a couple of things. This is our yellow shrimp tank right here, and these guys are breeding like crazy. And then over here we have our blue shrimp tank. These guys are looking fantastic as well. These cherry red shrimp that are in here, they're all looking good. And then of course our new color, which are these sun-kissed orange, are also looking good. I want to look at one other thing. A lot of people have been asking about it, so let's go take a look. So if you saw saw this video, we set up this really cool little pool pond to breed feeder guppies. And if you notice, there are tons of guppies in here, and I'm talking about, we put hundreds in here, and I'm almost positive at this point there are thousands. There are so many fry in here, it's insane, guys. But one of the things that came with all these feeder guppies that we never expected was an American Bullfrog Tadpole. And we're gonna find him and we're gonna feed him and check on him right now. So let's take a look. So these Bullfrog Tadpoles actually eat algae, plant matter, and tadpoles from other frog species. So what we're gonna be feeding today is this API algae wafer, and when I drop this in here he may scare off, but we'll come back and check him in a minute because he will absolutely devour that thing. And there he is eating. Oh, he just took it and left. Alright, well, everything in here is looking good. Everything in our shrimp grow out is looking good too. We're growing all kinds of frog bit and duckweed in this tub, as well as all of our ghost shrimp. Look, I just walked by the 300-gallon. One of our zebra spiny eels is out. That thing looks fantastic. Oh look, there's one of our German blue rams. And there's actually another one. And they may be, no, those are both males, I believe. One of our bala sharks, and in fact the bala sharks were doing some sort of a mating dance yesterday. I gotta research that. I've never bred bala sharks, don't know anything about them, but everything in the 300-gallon is looking good as well. All of our jungle val looks fantastic, hornwort, everything is looking so good in here. And look at our big old angel fish. He's like, give me some food. Everybody's hungry. Alright guys, well with that, hopefully you went on to enjoy this video and you like the changes we made to this waterfall tank and the new betta that has gone into it. What I'd like to ask for you guys is to go ahead and comment below and let me know what you think we should name this little guy. But with that guys, I am truly grateful for all of the support that you provide myself and this channel. Thank you so very, very much. I am truly, truly grateful. Make sure you subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Links to all are down below. And hey, we'll see you next time.